Welcome to Practically Insane. I'm going to butcher. Caleb and I have known each other for several years now. Caleb Mignogna is how it's pronounced. For some reason, Siri will only call you when I tell her to call Caleb Mañana. But you are not tomorrow, you are today. So, Caleb, welcome to Practically Insane. Caleb is Practical Metals and Practical Building Systems direct sales rep for Levi's building components. I think anything that attaches anything to anything else. Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nate. Pleasure being here, man.
Absolutely.
Yep. Caleb Mignogna, as Nate said, Levi's building components. Been in the industry now for 13 years on fastener side and construction over 20 years. And just happy to be here.
Thank you. So when Riley reached out and asked you to be on the podcast, I think the first thing you said was, okay, what are we going to talk about?
Absolutely.
And can you get a script or... No, absolutely not. I want to go off the cuff. I want to have just a conversation. So I've actually had a couple of other guests on, and the biggest thing for us is we want to add value to people who are running their businesses in the same method that we have, in the same method that you have. So start at the beginning for me. Caleb's an East Texas boy. Tell me where you started and how you got to where you're at today.
Yep. So currently live in Tyler, Texas. Mm-hmm. In the fastener world, actually started at ST Fastening Systems, other known as Seal Tight. Mm-hmm. Got to learn some valuable experience and lessons from all the veterans that have been in the field for well over 35 years. Mm-hmm. Joe Hargis started that company, and it was just a privilege to work for them. Nice. So through that, I actually started in the fastener world as a customer service rep on the inside, running 5 different sales reps, and I guess probably 7 or 8 states for them. And that was really the foundation of everything, because I actually got to learn the parts, the applications, people calling for any type of issue they had or what they thought they needed. So it was great getting to know all the customers and the parts.
Nice.
So that's where I am today. I'm now running just Texas now, and I'm actually an independent representative for Levi's. So that's been it's been a great transition, great company, as you can tell.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. And full disclosure, we do business with both Levi's and ST. We're a relationship company,
Yep.
And we preach relationships on both sides of the fence, up the chain for our supplies and down the chain to our customers. So, born and raised Tyler, Texas? Are you East Texas originally? Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I'm actually from the north. I'm actually a New Jersey guy.
Mm-hmm.
I worked out there doing the windows, siding, asphalt, cedar shake roofs, tile roofs. So we got to experience that out there in the north. Little bit more fast paced. And then I actually moved into medical device sales for a few years. And what got me to Texas is actually the oil field. So moved down here about 14 years ago to be in the oil field. And that was an exciting and eventful time in West Texas. As you know, the oil field chews you up and spits you out pretty quick, even if you're good.
Yeah, but people continue to do it.
They continue to do it.
I'm going to take this job, but once the oil patch kicks back off, I'm gone.
Going back in there. I mean, the money was good. The money was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then you start to weigh, what is the benefits of the money versus stability. Mm-hmm. And so transition from the oil field into the ST world.
So, in the fasteners and components world, when it comes to the construction project, it's such a small part. It's such, people don't, it's such a small part that it gets overlooked constantly. So, when it comes to construction projects, are you guys, and you in particular, do you focus more on the client that keeps and stocks your product to deal with the customers, the end users, or do you focus on those jobs that are out there?
I do specifically is I gear towards my roll formers or suppliers. I typically do not get to touch the end consumer or the contractor, but my job is to try to educate the roll formers and the suppliers on what type of different products I have. I actually am very passionate about this subject because I do think that there is a gap between the roll formers and the contractors, and then the contractors to the residential purchaser. So my job is to, every time I get to touch one of my customers, I do try to educate them on the different types of screws and applications, because unless you're actually looking at a screw is a screw.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go to Home Depot and there is just a line full of screws. And, you know, what I used to do is I used to just walk in and grab the drywall screws.
Right.
And it didn't matter what application I was using. I mean, I got a drywall screw.
Right.
I got at least 500 or 1,000 of them on the shelf.
Yeah.
But coming over to this world, it is very important to know the screw and what you're holding that building together.
Yeah.
A little bit different from an indoor application to an outdoor application. So, yeah, my job is to educate as well as to sell, but education is kind of my passion.
Both on practical building systems and practical metals side. And now we haven't even had the discussion about practical steel, which is an entire conversation for after the podcast. But that's our goal. An educated client is a great client. When a client knows what they want, knows what they need, and you don't end up with the oh shits. We used this fastener. We used a panhead instead of ultra low profile on this wood deck, and now they're all translating through the clip. Well, why did you order a panhead? Or why did you order that fastener? Well, I didn't know. I just so we spend our time educating our customers as well as possible, but continually educating them. And it sounds like your passion is doing that. So now, how often does that sink in?
Well, good point. Good point. So the interesting part is that I get to talk to the decision makers, right? But the people who actually sell the screw to the customer is typically your front desk. So how much does that get translated? You know, I would say 10%.
Okay.
It's very low.
Wow.
Yeah. Only because there's a lot of order takers out there.
Oh, yes.
So if you're working at the front desk and you're taking an order, and he said, I want this, this, and this, you know, you're not really going to argue with him by just getting that invoice and getting the sale, right?
Right.
So that's a great question.
So in the industry, and you deal with a lot of, so when Caleb says roll formers, primarily, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about manufacturers, suppliers that roll form R panel, U panel, in shop roll forming for exposed fasteners.
That is correct.
So most of your fasteners are exposed to the weather. Not all of them, but the vast majority are exposed to the weather. Now you're dealing with grommets, you're dealing with sealants, you're dealing with proper application. You're dealing with long life fasteners versus standard life fasteners, metal, metal, wood, synthetic. If these vendors, if you could reach out and tell these vendors, and I hope they're all watching, if you could reach out and tell these vendors that are the decision makers that you get to talk to, if you had one question, one set of skills that those counter people brought to that, what would it be?
Start asking about the job, right? Typically when someone calls, they'll say, "Hey, do you have this screw?" And I'll say yes, and they're really like, "Okay, great." And I'll be like, "Hey, what is the application? Talk to me about the application." Because as soon as you start to get into the weeds with them, you can start to help guide that conversation. They might actually have the correct application or the right screw, which is awesome. But other times, being able to upsell them on a product is a big deal. So if you're finding out that it's just a shed in the back, screw might be perfectly fine. If you're finding out that it's actually going to be a barn dominium or a more upscale commercial building, then you can have deeper conversations into a higher end screw. The number one objection that I've heard over the years is the contractors do not want to spend more money. When they're like, they just like the cheapest screw. And you know what? Sometimes that is the application. Sometimes they just want the cheapest. But a lot of times, if you give the option or the contractor the option to upsell the end consumer who's paying for it, they will more than likely spend the extra. And what's interesting, the fasteners can be only less than 1% of the overall job. Less than 1%. And it's the last thing that somebody looks at. It's one of the most important things that you need to look at. I'm going to use a stupid example. Me and my wife, when we first got married, not a lot of money, we wanted to buy a vacuum. And so we went and we purchased, one that looked okay. 6 months later, guess what happened to that vacuum?
Dead.
It's dead. So guess what we did? Oh, we already spent that money. Let's go buy another one. Okay, we buy another one. Not doing a lot of research on it. Looked nice. Guess what happened in 6 months?
Oh yeah,
Dead.
same thing.
Here we are now. We're almost three vacuums in, and we decided maybe it's time to really look at what a vacuum is and which one would last. Because by this time I'm almost $150 into it already.
Right.
So guess what we bought?
Kirby or Rainbow? Which one?
Oh man, that's a Dyson.
Okay.
A Dyson.
All right. Oh, so, it is 2026.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So we ended up buying that Dyson, and I'm telling you, that thing lasted us for like almost 12 years.
Oh yeah.
And never had to touch it. No more bags and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying this because these screws are really not that much more to an overall job. And when a contractor is able to talk to the end consumer that's paying for it, and you tell them, hey, you can get this screw, and you start to differentiate yourself from every other contractor out there, and be able to make your building a value proposition to them rather than just a number or a quote. And you also become the expert in that field, right?
Yeah.
Hey, no one else actually said this to me. So why? And they start second guessing and they start seeing you as the expert. So being able to educate them from being a salesperson at the front desk to the contractor to the end consumer, they'll start coming back to you because you brought up that information to help them earn that business.
Do you know, on the PBS side of our business, on the building side, we don't do anything but long life fasteners for roofing?
Love that.
If it's a wall, okay, it's a little different situation.
Sure.
Because your water infiltration on a wall opportunity is much more minimized than it is on the roof. But on the roof, literally, we did the math. A 20,000 square foot facility for long life fasteners, it's $25 or $30 difference.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
Now, teaching the contractor to use a screw gun instead of an impact gun, that's a whole other conversation.
Yes.
But we'll have the Milwaukee guy on to have that conversation instead of the fastener guy. So I want to have the conversation. You've gone from inside to outside, and now you're in a newer role with Levi's, or structurally a little different. So what does Caleb's day look like managing business to business sales? Because I know how ours looks, but for you, you're representing a company that sells fasteners to an end user. So, and I think we may have had that. You know Randy Chaffee?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Randy.
Randy was he was the first podcast that I was on. He was my first guest on the podcast.
Let's go.
Randy, old school. If you haven't read his book, please read his book. I've
Yep.
got a copy here you can have if you don't. But been in that industry, and he believes you show up, you do the work, and the sales happen. But you show up and you do the work every day, and you improve what you do, and you work for your customer. What does Caleb's day look like from a business to business? Because you work from home, you're home based, but I'm sure you're on the road. You're traveling down the road all day, every day. What does that look like for you supporting your customers?
Yeah. Well, my day starts as soon as I wake up. There's always an email. There's always someone to get back to. Typically, the phone calls start around 8 o'clock.
Right.
Don't end till 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah.
But when I am home, it's obviously emails almost all the time, and following up with quotes, giving out customer information, a lot of phone calls. Hey, Caleb, what's this application? What type of screw? When I'm on the road, it's typically between Tuesday to Friday. Some days, some weeks shorter, some weeks longer. But it gets to be a lot of windshield time in Texas. So if I'm not talking to a customer while on the road, I love Audible and I love YouTube. I'm pretty darn sure I've run out of my internet. I mean, these people are like, what does this guy do all day?
Right.
But,
yeah.
Between customers in Texas, it can be a 2-hour to 4-hour ride. So I love to educate, love to learn.
What's the last book you audibled?
You're going to laugh at me.
No.
So it wasn't the last book, but did you know that Randy Chaffee's podcast is on Audible?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the last thing I listened to.
Okay.
And I actually do some fiction reading as well.
Okay.
So me and the boys, I have 4 sons. I like to read books and then suggest them to them. So I screen them all and listen to that. So
if you were to recommend one book, what book changed your outlook, had the biggest impact on what you do from a sales standpoint in your life? Audible, hard copy, whatever. Give one book to a young guy looking to get into sales.
How to talk so people will listen. Yep. I could get you the author.
I literally, when we're going to do this on the fly. So, how to talk so people will listen.
I probably, it's been quite a few years since I've reread it or re-listened to it, but it helped me out in the medical field because doctors are very to the point, and they want to know information exactly. And then if you're not interested, they will shut you down very fast. Julian Treasure.
Okay. How to speak so that people want to listen.
Yep. As a sales rep, you're obviously continual learning, continuing to adapt to people's personalities. So, everything that you read in one book might not apply to you. But if you can grab nuggets here and there and experiment with them.
Yeah.
Just so just so you keep on evolving and can connect to as many people as possible.
Have you read anything by Tim Ferriss?
Can't say I have.
Okay. Tim Ferriss, New York Times best-selling author, yada yada, all around tinkerer is why I absolutely love what he puts out. But he's got two books. One's called Tools of Titans, and one is Tribe of Mentors. And they're both each, I call them mini chapters. They're 3 to 7 pages, but it's all by a different person. And it's all, just nuggets that he's on Tools of Titans. It's all takeaways from his podcast, but it's very specific situations. And if you take away one nugget, even in the preface of the book, he talks about it's to be used as a tool, and he's got it broken up by, this section is, for athleticism or for physical fitness, or not fitness, but physical health. This section is for mental clarity. This section is for, whatever, motivation, all of the things. And I mean, this is a massive book, right? I mean, but it's 5 to 7 pages a day. So, we talked about me doing 75 hard. I love rereading those because I get my 10 pages in, I read about 1 or 2 people, and I've already read it, but man, the reminders. And I think it was Seth Godin. We've implemented something here. There's not a single person who has come to work here that hasn't, before being employed, come and worked with us. So we bring them in for a couple of days, and a driver rides with our driver, and we get to spend time with that person gets to spend time with us before they're employed. And it's a long-term interview process, and everybody here gets a say as to, their personality may not fit, but their skill set way overrides. And talking about the book, if I get one nugget out of a book, and Mindy will watch this later and she'll get in my ear about it, but she's like, every time you read a book, like you're implementing something new. And I'm like, isn't that the point?
It's exciting.
That's the point of doing this. But so as we look through this, and you're covering the state of Texas, and Levi's is growing leaps and bounds in this area for a Northeast company. Man, I see you guys down here all the time with both our competitors and our friendly competitors and our vendors. What's next? What's next for Levi's down here? Just continued growth, slow and steady, big things. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, exciting things. We're continually growing, like you're saying, down here in Texas and the Midwest. What's awesome is Steve is the sole owner, but everyone takes a active role, just like you guys. A customer is not just a number. We want to know every single one of our customers by name, and we want to answer that phone call on the first call. And we want you guys to know that you're a part of our family just as much as we're a part of your family.
Yeah.
I think where we really secure relationships is we want to have conversations with you about your family. We don't want to just place an order. We want you to be. We want to know as much about your business as you do,
right,
so that we can help you grow.
I want to talk about struggles because sales and entrepreneurship are hand in hand. And I've heard my entire life, and I've said it a lot, sales fixes everything. Volume fixes everything. When the truth of the matter is that profitable sales and volume fixes everything.
Sure.
So share with me, take a second, think about it. Share with me a loss in the business world for you. An event, a sale, a lost customer, something that made Caleb go, why do I do this?
why do I do it, or why, or was there a loss?
Why am I still doing this? What is this? If this isn't working or I can't get this, why in the world? Because we've all had them.
Yeah.
We've all had those moments where you walk out of a client and you go, you just lost that client or you lost that order, and it 9 times out of 10 as a salesperson, it's probably out of your hands, and you just go, man, I really don't want to go make this next call.
Oh yeah, no, it is painful when you lose a customer, right? Because you've built those relationships, and unfortunately, sometimes it's out of even that person's hands. For instance, like a company buys another company,
Yeah.
and it's the decision's made somewhere else. So you're like, oh man, those were years of building, right, to get that account, and then unfortunately it just walks away.
Boy, we see that a lot nowadays.
Right.
Businesses buying businesses.
Yeah.
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 And private equity does not care about a relationship.
They do not. They do not. Unfortunately. I'm like, hey, who is this guy? Let me go talk to him, right?
You're a tenth of a penny high, and we're going with another vendor.
Yeah. Painful.
Oh, yeah.
Why do I keep going?
Yeah.
Man, I love this field. This is the best field I've ever worked in.
Nice.
I love the people. And what I love about it is they listen. You know, if you have something good to say, or educational, most people listen. Of course, my family has a lot to do with why I keep going.
Well,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
But,
absolutely.
no, this industry is so exciting. There's always something new coming out. There's always a different new application, new screw, metal. I mean, the vinyl print coming out on these coils is just amazing.
Oh, yeah. And everybody wants it.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
So it's man, I don't want to leave this field.
Good.
I hope we go, 30 plus years. And
Caleb, I just want to end on a note, and I want to say thank you, first of all, for being our sales rep. I've never called you that you haven't responded. You bring a professionalism to the industry that is really lost. And when you come around, it is like having family. And, you know everyone who works here. And when someone new, you spend the time, you get to know them. I mean, my business partner, when you guys were in the break room and you're getting coffee and he realizes you're here and you guys are right to the cars. Thank you for bringing a professionalism to this industry that a lot of days I struggle to wonder why we're still doing this and dealing with people, because that will continue to help you grow your business and Levi's business and everything else. From the Practical family, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. And on that note, I just want to say thank you to everyone watching. Thanks to Caleb. Thanks to Levi's for being an incredible vendor and business partner. And we'll see you on the next episode of Practically Insane.